Hello guys, welcome to this series of Math Common Errors, MCE, Part 3, dealing with the factoring, equations, and inequalities. There are other parts, you can see them in your free time. There are many mistakes, common mistakes that comes in mathematics. In this video, I would like to show you 9 MCE, Math Common Errors, and the correct versions and some examples. I will present also 4 questions with details in the solution and how to avoid these errors. I will leave, as usual, at the end of the video, 3 practice questions. Only the answers will be provided. So this is part 3, MCE. Now the first one, as you can see, many times we are factoring. Look at the question here. 14x minus 2x cubed. Suppose we need to factor the common factor, and there's a common error in the common factor. Suppose there's a 2x here. If you take it out, and then what's left is 7 minus x to the power 4 all cubed. That's completely wrong. Now the correct answer will be 8x cubed. Inside the bracket is correct, 7 minus x power 4 all cubed. Now what is the error here? The common factor, which is 2x, was not taken with the required or the correct power. See, 2x is a common factor inside the bracket. When you take it out, it should be taken with the power that's in the question. Power 3, power 4, or power 5, or power 6, any power in the question. Now, the correct solution here, steps, I will show you in question number 1. So don't worry, you will see this one here. How do we get the exact solution with complete steps? Just wait for question number 1. Let's go to the error number 2. If we have this formula, x cubed plus y cubed, many students or math users, they use this formula here. X plus y, if you're factoring, it's the sum of 2 cubes. X plus y, x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. That is a wrong formula. Now, the correct formula is very close. This is the correct formula down here. There is no 2 in this formula. Remember that I showed you one formula close. There is a 2xy when we have perfect square, trinomial, but not in this formula. So the correct formula here to factor x cubed plus y cubed will be x plus y, x squared minus xy plus y squared. If you try to take a few minutes at home, try to multiply these on the right side. You will get exactly this answer here. So what is the error here in the common error number 2? No 2 with xy. In this formula, sum of 2 cubes. Okay, formula number 2, this one here. Number 3, error number 3. Some people, they mix between these 2 formulas. Many students have asked me, when do you use this number 1? When do you use this number 2? This is completely the opposite. Each one is in a different direction. Even they look close, but they are not close. The first one, look at the first one, x cubed plus y cubed. That's the given. So I put here in the explanation, I put here, use formula number 1 to factor. So if you need to factor, so the factoring is the aim. Factoring means you have to write the answer in product. Please, you can write this down. Factoring means you have to write the answer in product form. all the question, all the answer should be between brackets. So that's factoring here. So the given is this one here, x cubed plus y cubed. The factoring is this, the right side, 2 brackets. Some other questions may be 3 brackets or 4. Now, question here number 2. Use formula number 2 to expand cube of a sum. So these are opposite. If you have this question, let's say x minus 7 all cubed, or 2y minus 1 all cubed, or plus 1, you need to expand. See the answer here, 4 terms. Number 2, this is not factoring. Number 1 is factoring. Just make sure, please. Don't be confused. Common error here. Suppose we need to factor, many times I have seen this, x power 4 plus x squared plus 1. The question is, factor it. I mentioned before, I will say it again. Factoring means you have to leave the answer in product form. So look what they do. So they write here x squared in the bracket x squared plus 1 plus 1. That's not factoring. It's not factoring. This is factoring the first part. See, plus 1, you cannot leave it here. See, look at the correct answer. Nice factoring, but it's not easy. This question is not easy, not all the factoring. So x power 4 plus x squared plus 1 is equal to x squared plus 1 plus x squared plus 1 minus x. Now this is a big story. I will show you the details in question number 3. Just wait, please. But remember, this one is wrong because, see what is the mistake here? The plus 1 is outside. So I mentioned here to factor completely, expression should be in product form. All the answers should be in product form. Okay, number 5. Common error. A minus B equals B minus A. Is that correct? I think everyone knows this is wrong. A minus B equals B minus A. That's wrong in the red. Now, A minus B, if I take a common factor here, always we see this in mathematics. Always we see this. A minus B equals minus in the bracket B minus A. Because if you multiply this, see, this minus with the B, so minus B, minus with the A. That's correct. So minus with the B is minus B, minus with minus A is A. Now another common factor here, absolute value of A minus B. Remember absolute value. If you put the minus outside, that's wrong because the minus is inside the absolute value. So the correct form is this, absolute value of A minus B, same as absolute value of B minus A. I think you need little time here at home, at your leisure time, to try to understand these. If we have absolute value, there is no need for the minus. This is the formula. If we don't have absolute value, like here, you need the minus outside. Now, look here in the examples. This one, we have absolute value. See, we have absolute value. There is no need for the minus. Just take 2 out. You cannot take minus 2. You can take 2 out. And then inside, you can have x minus 6 or 6 minus x. Both are correct. Down here, in this example, if you take 3, take minus 3. You see, take minus 3 common. Now this becomes n minus the m. How to check this is correct? Multiply. Multiply in your mind if you like. Minus 3 times n is minus 3n. Minus 3 times minus m is plus 3m. You have to work with this on the paper and try. Avoid these errors. Number 6 in the squared. Let's go to the squared. See, when we have squared, there is no need to take the minus out. You see? A minus b squared, same as b minus a squared. Also the pluses. A plus b squared, same as b plus a squared. So in the squared, they are the same. Even any power which is even. Now this one is not correct. A minus b squared, if you put minus outside, b minus a squared, this is wrong. In the absolute value also, you cannot take the minus, but you can switch inside. A minus b absolute value all squared, same as absolute value of b minus a all squared. Now here will be some examples. 4 minus 36y squared. Suppose we need to take a common factor here. So we take 4, see 4 in the common, but remember, I showed you in common error number 1. If you take a 4, there is a square, so you have to square it. And then inside you can write 9y minus 1 or 1 minus 9y. Same thing here for the squared. You can switch inside without taking a minus because we have squared. Also, you need to study this carefully. Number 7, let's move to equations. Common error I have seen hundreds of times. If we are solving a simple equation, let's take an example, quadratic. You can see this error many times actually. Suppose I have this equation, simple equation, see x squared minus 5x equals 14. I need to find x. We call this equation quadratic. And we know there are two solutions. They can be real, they can be complex, they can be the same, they can be different, they can be positive, they can be negative, they can be fractions. But at least we know there are two solutions. Many students, math users, any person, I have seen hundreds of errors in here. They factor here because see there's an easy factoring. X bracket x minus 5. The factoring is correct. But you cannot factor if you have a number here on the right side. Because what will happen? You say x equals 14 and then x minus 5 equal what? 0 or 1? You cannot reach here. You cannot reach. You cannot reach a solution. Look at this error here. Many students don't feel it. They just do it and go. Now what do? Take 14 on the other side. You should leave 0 on the right. Now you can factor all this. X times x squared, minus 7 plus 2 is minus 5, minus 14. So x will be 7, x will be minus 2. 0 should be, remember here, should have 0 on the right side to factor and solve the equation. Look at this error here. Many students do it. Try to avoid it. Number 8, another simple error here, but you can see it many times. If we are solving inequalities, now we are solving minus 7x less than or equal to 14. I need x. So everyone knows that we have to divide by minus 7, divide by minus 7. So this becomes x less than minus 2. 14 over minus 7 is minus 2. That's wrong. What is the mistake here? Can you figure out the mistake? Also, many students do not feel it here, that they did the mistake. Look at the mistake. The correct one is, if we have minus 7x less than or equal to 14, divide by minus 7 and change the sign. X greater than or equal to minus 2. If you divide, I put here a note, if you divide or multiply any inequality by a negative number, you should change the sign. We don't do this in the equations because in the equations we have only equal sign. Okay, number 8, this is number 8. Number 9, also, many people do this error, math error. When we are completing the square, remember this completing the square, very important topic in algebra. Solving, suppose we are solving equations or we have here functions. Just we are concentrating here on completing the square. Suppose I need to complete the square here. Look here. F of x is equal to 3x squared minus 18x plus 15. If I divide by 3, so this divide by 3, this divide by 3, this divide by 3. Is that correct? No. You cannot divide when you have a function because you have to divide the left side here, f of x, which is y. You can divide this y by 3. It will be correct. But when you complete the square in the function, different from completing the square in the equation. So you cannot divide here by 3. Now, suppose you have a equation. This is an equation equals 0. See, this is an equation. You can divide by 3, yes. And then we can complete the square. We will do this on the question number 4. We will see completing the square. So in equations, you can divide because this is equal 0. Divide by any number not equal to 0, positive number, fraction, negative, any number at any time, more than one time. But in the function, we take a common factor. I will show you what we do. Just take a common factor between 3 here. So you get x squared minus 6. Leave the 3 and complete the square inside. You have to leave the 3. Now let's look here at some correct formulas. I have mentioned here 7. You can use them anytime. They are completely true. Like the first one, the sum 2 cubes, we need to factor. This is the correct formula. Difference between 2 cubes, this is the correct formula. Remember absolute value, we don't take a minus, and the squared. But look in the cube here, number 6 and 7, they are a little tricky. A minus B all cubed is equal B minus A all cubed. You can switch A minus B, B minus A. If you have absolute value, that means there's a minus 1 in the middle here, minus 1. Absolute value becomes plus 1. Absolute value of minus 1 is plus 1. But when we have brackets here, number 7, just number 7, little tricky. We will see an example on that. When you have a bracket like this, A minus B all cubed, there is no absolute value in number 7. If you switch inside B minus A cubed, because this is an odd number here, cubed, you have to put a minus, even power 5, power 7. If it is squared or power 4 or power 6, even number, you don't have to put a minus. Let's start with question number 1. We have seen this one there in one of the errors. Let's factor this one completely. You can pause a little, please, and then try it yourself. 14x minus 2, x power 5, all cubed. We need to factor the expression, take the common factor outside. Let's see. There is a common factor I see there, 2x. You see the 2x? I think I mentioned that before. There is a 2x. So I can take the 2x inside the bracket. You see there? 2x inside the bracket, not completely outside. Now I have a formula here. I explained everything in details. A times B, all cubed, is equal A cubed times B cubed. Now A in our question here is 2x. That's A. B, all this, 7 minus x power 4. You see, this is A, this is B now. So you can say cube on the first one, A cubed. So this is 2x all cubed. I think you can see that. 7 minus x power 4 all cubed. Now look here, 2x cubed. 2x, I can take the same formula, but now this A is 2 and this B is x. You see the same formula, you can apply it to many questions. Again, please. I applied the same formula here, A times B all cubed, A cubed times B cubed, in 2 forms in the same question. So you can cube the 2, cube the x. This is 8x cubed, 7 minus x power 4 all cubed. This is the answer. That's completely factoring, finished, completely factoring. If you like, you can change the answer here. See, there's a cube. This is correct formula number 7. See the cube here? I can write x power 4 minus 7, but I have to take the minus out because that's a cube. If it is squared, we don't take the minus out. Question number 2, factor the expression completely. 27u cubed plus 8w cubed. Let's factor it. You can pause a little. You can use one of the formulas in the list of the correct formulas. This is a sum here. We have a sum. So in details, it's not a difficult question. I can change 27, you can see that here, 27u cubed, I can change it 3u all cubed to make it easy. So this is x here. 8w cubed, I change it to 2w all cubed. So now you see x is 3u, y is 2w, and then that's the formula. This should be in your mind here. X cubed plus y cubed is equal to x plus y, remember? Times x squared minus xy, there is no 2 here, plus y squared. Just apply the formula. Every y, you put 2w. Every x, you put 3u. And just simplify it, you get the factoring. Remember now, if you multiply these two, the big answer here, you will get this one here, the sum. This is a factoring. As I mentioned many times, factoring means leave the answer in product form. Not easy question. Sorry for this, guys. If you want to learn, just have some new idea here. Let's factor x power 4 plus x squared plus 1. Not easy. There's a little trick. You have to go around, you have to think, you have to do something. You can pause a little here and think, try to sketch on your paper. What can you do? Let me ask you before I show you the solution. Suppose here there is a 2 in the middle here. Maybe you can say, I think you can think of this way. Suppose there is a 2 here in the middle here. Suppose there is 2. What will happen? The question will be so easy. Now it is not easy, difficult. If there is a 2 in the middle, the question will be so easy because it's perfect. Perfect squared trinomial. So the answer will be x squared plus 1 all squared. If there is a 2, there is no 2. So what do? So we call this expression here almost perfect. We call it almost perfect. So we need only 2 here. How can we include the 2 without changing the question? Remember in the mathematics, you can play with numbers, you can do anything, correct method, correct steps. You cannot change the question. So in the middle term, see here, I said here in the middle term, we need 2x squared. So I can add and subtract. See, I have x squared, one of them. I need 2x squared. Suppose you have 1, you need 2. You can borrow. In math, we can borrow numbers, letters, variables, but you have to add and so you have to pay back what you borrow. This is adding and subtracting x squared. See here? This is the question. You see the first 3 terms? That's the question. I add x squared, so I need it. Then I subtract x squared. I have to pay back. Now I take the first one, x squared, with the x squared, I add it. You see that one? But I have to leave this one here because I have to pay this back. Now I take the first 3 terms, it's perfect. This factoring is easy, x squared plus 1 all squared, minus, see this one here, x all squared. Now there's another formula here, difference between 2 squares. So it will be like a plus b, a minus b. You remember this formula, a plus b, a minus b. Try this example. Very nice question, number 3. I hope you enjoy it. Number 4. Let's complete the square on this equation. Complete the square. So since we have an equation, see the word here, equation equals 0 something, you can divide by 3 because we need the leading coefficient is 1. This one is easy. Now we have divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. So get x squared minus 8x. Take this on the other side, minus 12. Now in completing the square, we take half coefficient of x. You see minus 8, take half of it. Half of it means divide by 2. In mathematics, when we say take half, it means directly divide by 2. Then square it. So minus 8 over 2 minus 4. Square it 16. Then you add it on both sides. You see this is plus 16, plus 16. On the left side, we have perfect. This is what we say completing. So it's complete now. Minus 12 plus 16 is 4. Take the square root of both sides. Move 4 on the other side becomes plus 4. 4 plus 2, 6. 4 minus 2, 2. These are the solutions. All right. Now, I will leave this for you. Practice number 1, very similar to the questions we did here. Factor the expression completely. And then practice number 2, also factor the expression completely. 8p to the power 5 minus 8p squared. And practice number 3, factor the following expression. And then you find the answer here, practice 1, practice 2, practice 3, only the answer. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you for watching, and I hope I can see you in another video with another topic. Thank you very much.